Welcome to WEFM's 3 p.m. news. I am your presenter, Jessica Klein. First, on the local scene. Digicel has gifted a total of 20 laptops to a number of secondary schools in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to help students ace their studies. With the gift of 20 laptops to 5 rural secondary schools, seeing 1,000 kids benefiting from being connected, the lucky schools were Central Leeward Secondary, West St. George Secondary, Sandy Bay Secondary, Georgetown Secondary, and Langley Park Government. Expressing delight at the opportunity to help the schools and students, Victor Kovacs, Digicel St. Vincent and the Grenadines CEO, said this is what it's all about for Digicel. Life is all about connections, and so are we. So it made perfect sense to us to gift our school kids with the connectivity tools they need to excel in their studies. He continues, every small step towards bridging the digital divide and allowing people to benefit from being a part of the knowledge economy translates increased opportunity for all. We are proud to play our part in building beautiful St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a digital destination and happy to help these kids to a brighter future. A 2-day climate justice workshop in Sandy Bay wrapped up last week contributed to the enhancement of the Geographical Information System, GIS, with the addition of new data. The workshop was held under the umbrella of the Caribbean Youth Environment Network, CN, as part of its climate justice awareness initiative among indigenous communities and brought together more than 100 participants from communities north of the Rabuka Dry River. In Sandy Bay, the stressors and calamities identified included deforestation, threats from tsunamis and storm surge, landslides and flooding, hurricanes, the effects of the volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and invasive species. The workshop had an estimated target of 40 persons each day, but saw participation from more than 100 persons, principally from Sandy Bay, who spent most of the second day engaged in the mapping exercise. A majority of participants were youth and women farmers whose livelihoods continue to be negatively affected by the fallout of the April 2021 eruptions of Lasso Fray. Still on the local scene, Nickland Trouble King from the North Central Windward community of South Rivers, who was wanted in connection with a series of offenses and escaping lawful custody, is now in custody according to police. On Wednesday, November 23rd, law officials sent out a wanted bulletin for Nickland after he escaped from the Georgetown police station. In the bulletin, the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force said it was asking for the help of the public to locate King. Police said they were carrying out investigations into several reports of burglary, robbery, and escape of lawful custody, where King was a person of interest. The announcement of Nickland in police custody was made on November 28, 2022. On the regional scene, Guyana has initiated talks with Canada on the possibility of visa-free travel, according to the Canadian High Commissioner to Guyana, Mark Berman. The High Commissioner said that the stakeholders recognize that there needs to be more direct flights between Canada and Guyana, so this is something they are working on. Berman related that authorities have been engaging various carrier services in Canada to explore the possibilities, but nothing has been finalized yet. He said that there is a lot of traffic as a result of increased business and tourism on both ends. He related that while he is not in the airline industry, they have been trying to give as much information as possible to help businesses make their decisions. Berman highlighted that these are private companies and have to make a business decision. He also said they are not part of the Canadian government. They need to make a decision based on a cost-benefit of analysis. So we try to ensure they have the information that they need to make the decision. At the end of the day, it is a business decision. More on the regional scene, A former Puerto Rican police officer has been sentenced to 20 years in prison after being found guilty of masterminding the U.S. territory's biggest firearm robbery in history. Jose Padilla Galaza was convicted in May after authorities accused him of recruiting other suspects to help steal 125 firearms from a police shooting range in October 2010. According to the United States, the suspects dressed up in fake uniforms pretending to be policemen, used a vehicle with fake police decals to enter the shooting range and assaulted and tied up the officers on duty before stealing the weapons. Attorney's office in Puerto Rico authorities said Padilla Galaza had visited the shooting range multiple times in 1 year to become familiar with the personnel, their shifts, and the facility's layout ahead of the robbery. Padilla Galaza and his co-conspirators then sold the stolen weapons, which included 49 pistols, 40 AR-15 rifles, and 24 shotguns, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. The former police officer was previously sentenced in October 2018 to 19 years in prison in an unrelated case in which authorities accused him of masterminding a bank robbery near the capital of Sawan. Padilla Galaza and his fellow suspects were found guilty of stealing more than $64,000 and using decoy explosives. Padilla will serve that sentence consecutively with a new one, plus 5 years of supervised release. And on the international scene, the first drug to show the destruction of the brain in Alzheimer's has been heralded as momentous by the United Kingdom. The research breakthrough ends decades of failure and shows a new era of drugs to treat Alzheimer's, the most common form of dementia, is possible. Yet the medicine, lecanemab, has only a small effect and its impact on people's daily lives is debated. The drug works in the early stages of the disease, so most would miss out without a revolution in spotting it. Lecanemab attacks the sticky substance called beta amyloid that builds up in the brains of people with Alzheimer's. For a medical field littered with duds, despair, and disappointment, some see these trial results as a triumphant turning point. This has been WEFM's 3 p.m. news. I have been your presenter, Jessica Klein. Join us again at 5:30 p.m. for WEFM's evening news, and we thank you for listening.
WEFM reminds and encourages the